In a far reach of the human frontier there stood a quiet world where metal towers rose like trees, and where wind carried the hum of engines across plains of pale dust. And on this world a program existed that many across the stars feared, yet none could deny its results. And this program took children from broken colonies and forged them into a shield for all of humankind. The program was guided by strict mentors who believed that young minds adapted faster than old ones. And these mentors selected kids who showed courage, empathy, and a rare focus, and they placed them in halls of learning where history of human struggle was taught, alongside math tactics and moral weight of conflict. And these kids did not grow up dreaming of games or simple joys. Instead, they learned of worlds lost to hostile forces and of the need to stand. For among these kids was a boy named Aaron, whose home moon had fallen when he was small, and Aaron carried memory of fire in the sky and voices in the way. Dark, and he trained harder than most, driven by a wish that no child would feel what he had felt. And beside him trained a girl named Leo, whose parents served in Deep Space Patrol and whose laughter was rare, but whose resolve was bright. The mentors taught them to pilot swift craft and to guide ground units through harsh terrain and to read alien patterns and weaknesses in every lesson. Carried a quiet truth that someday these kids would face an enemy that did not share human values, and that enemy would not be generators passed in training halls and simulation fields. And the kids became young fighters with steady hands and sharp minds, and they learned teamwork. Above all, because the mentors said that unity was the strongest weapon, and no one survived alone beyond the frontier. An alien civilization had grown in secret, and it expanded across systems with cold logic and no care for other life in its fleets consumed worlds for resources and left only silence in many. Species had fallen before it, and when it finally reached the edges of human space, the Council knew that no standard force would be enough, though. Mentors gathered the young fighters and told them of the threat, and fear filled the room, yet none stepped back, and Aaron felt his heart race, yet he also felt a strange calm, because this was the purpose he had been shaped forth. Mission was simple, yet vast, to strike at the core of the alien empire and break its ability to wage war, and the kids were chosen because they could move through small gaps and adapt to new dangers, and because their minds had been trained to think beyond rigid rules. They boarded sleek ships that moved like shadows through the void, and Leo sat beside Aaron as stars slipped by, and neither spoke much, but they shared a silent promise that they would protect each other and all they loved. When they reached the alien systems, they saw structures unlike anything human, with vast organic shapes fused with metal and energy, and the young fighters felt a mix of awe and dread, yet their training held them steady. They launched small teams onto key nodes that controlled fleets and supply lines, and each team moved with precision, guided by months of drills and by trust in one another. And Aaron led his unit through a maze of corridors where alien tech pulsed with strange light. The enemy defenders were swift and strange, yet the kids adapted using tactics learned from countless simulations, and Leo used her keen aim to clear paths while others hacked control hubs, and each success weakened the alien grip as battles spread across the alien core worlds. The young fighters worked without rest, driven by the knowledge that every second saved countless lives. And they did not fight with hate, but with a fierce need to protect their own species and to end the suffering caused by this cold empyrean. Reached a central chamber where the alien command mind directed its forces, and he felt a weight of history in that place, because here lay the power to end a long chain of destruction, and with careful hands, he activated a device that would disable the network across the system. Ships faltered, and alien units lost coordination, and human forces moved in to secure victory, and the young fighters withdrew as explosions of failing tech rippled through the structures. When the mission ended, the kids returned to their world weary yet alive, and they were greeted not with cheers but with quiet respect, because everyone knew the cost of what they had done and the heavy burden they carried. In the days that followed, Aaron and Leo sat under an artificial sky and spoke of small dreams of peace and of rebuilding. And though they were still young, they had seen more than many adults, and that knowledge bound them together. The mentors reflected on the program and on the strange truth that children had saved countless worlds and they vowed to guide these young heroes toward healing and toward a future where they would not need to fight against humanity across the stars, learned of the victory and of the kids who made it possible in stories, spread of courage and unity, and of how, even in the darkest times, the smallest among them could rise. To protect, Alarin looked to the horizon of his world and felt a quiet hope, because though the universe was vast and often cruel, humans had shown that they would stand together, and that even those trained for war could choose to build a better tomorrow.